welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're bringing you a playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster. This is going to be one of the, or actually currently the only vignette against the White Gigalion. A vignette, and I'll explain this a little bit more in the actual video when we get to it, but a vignette is basically a one-off showdown. All right, so before we get to this showdown, I do want to mention our sponsor, Board Game Co. This is a fantastic website where you can buy, sell, and trade games. They have a great selection to choose from if you're just looking to build more or build out your collection or buy more games, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say here. If you want to get more games in your collection, they can definitely help you. They have a great selection. Alex is always finding the new hotness, old classics, all that stuff, everything in between. Go check them out. They probably have exactly what you're looking for. Now, one of the ways they maintain such a good selection is they have a thriving used game market over there on Board Game Co. They buy games from you. If you're looking to trim down your collection a little bit, they can definitely help you do that. Go check out the system they have over there. Very easy to use for selling games. And then, of course, they will trade games with you. If you have a Board Game Geek account and you've created a tray list on Board Game Geek, you then take your Board Game Geek username, drop it into Board Game Co, and then it will automatically compare your tray list with their stock and build a custom tray list right there on their website. Makes it very easy to facilitate a trade. If you do check them out, click on the link in the description below so they know I sent you over there. Board Game Co makes it easy to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. All right, so now the White Gigalion is basically a giant version of the White Lion, which the White Lion is like the staple foe of Kingdom Death Monsters. The first one you fight, it's the one you're going to fight the most often, most of the time. So this one is a giant version of it. The base that it comes on is the same size as the Phoenix. So very interested to see how this goes. This is the first time I fought it, so y'all are going to be able to see me go into this without any knowledge of how this thing operates. Let's get down to the game topper, and we're going to fight the White Gigalion. All right, so here we go. We've got the setup here for the showdown with the White Gigalion. This is essentially a mutated version of the White Lion, much bigger, much more dangerous. And so we're going to hopefully fight it. Now, we're using survivors from a settlement called Gadrock. This is a settlement, or this being a vignette, this showdown here is what's called a vignette. And these survivors have been around for a while. They already have, their own backstories. They have fighting arts. They have disorders. And they have a full loadout of gear. And this is kind of a cool way to be able to do a one-shot to show somebody what Kingdom Death Monster has to offer in the showdown phase, at least, without having to get deep into a campaign. Because, as a lot of people know, one of the things with Kingdom Death is that if you want to really see what it offers in the showdowns, you got to get pretty deep into the campaign to really start seeing some of the really good stuff. So we're going to go through these. Now, I do want to say these two minis right here are, in fact, from the vignette. Obviously, the Gigalion here is. I have not completed building the minis. I got the vignette a while ago, but because of a move and then all kinds of other stuff, I just never got around to finishing the other two minis. So these two are approximations. They're obviously Kingdom Death minis. They're not the appropriate minis, but I think that, I wanted to get this recorded, and I've had this vignette for so long without playing it that I really just wanted to go ahead and get it played. All right, so let's go through each of the survivors real quick. Okay, so this survivor right here is called Rock Knight. So she has the Lovelorn Rock, which, as far as I can tell, doesn't really do anything other than it's just part of her gear grid. Then we've got the Bone Darts, which, as you can see, 1 speed, 7+ accuracy, 3 strength. These are pretty standard items that, early game items here. Range 6, and then they're frail. So if they hit a super dense location, they'll break. Then we've got Armor Spikes, which are if adjacent to the monster when you suffer a severe body injury, the monster suffers a wound as well. This happens once per round at the most. So that's pretty cool. That way, even when you're getting tore up, you have a chance, or you're also going to end up giving the monster some as well. Let's see. But it does say, I guess it says body injury, so it's got to be specifically to the body, not to the arms or the legs or the head. All right, then we've got the Skull Helm, 3 armor. It is fragile, and so you can see when you suffer severe head injury, the skull helm is destroyed, and this card is archived. Then we've got the Regal Placard, which is cursed and is a result of the King's Curse from the aftermath of a fight with a Kingsman. Then we've got the Skull Cap Hammer. This is a club. On a perfect hit, the monster is dazed and gains -1 speed token until the end of the turn. A monster can be dazed once per round. Then we've got the Bone Earrings. At the start of the showdown, gain +2 speed and +2 strength tokens if insane, which, by the way, the Rock Knight is insane currently. And all gear in your gear grid has the Bone keyword, which all of it does. So she's gaining the +2 speed, +2 strength, and we'll go through her stats here in a second. And then we've got the Regal Folds, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Another 4 armor item for the waist, and it's cursed as well. It comes from the King's Curse. And then same thing with the Regal Greaves, 4 armor, and cursed in the aftermath of the King's Curse. Also, the Rock Knight has the King's Step fighting art, which is a secret fighting art coming from the fight with the Kingsman. Whenever you attack, you may discard any number of battle pressure hit locations drawn and draw an equal number of new hit locations. Whenever you attack, and actually this, by the way, I'm just reading this to you because they do have it, but it has nothing to do with this fight. So it's kind of interesting that this is included, even though it doesn't have any effect on this fight. Whenever you attack after drawing hit locations, but before rolling to wound, you may choose 1 hit location drawn and discard it to draw a new hit location. I guess that portion of it does actually work with this fight. Let's see. When you attack after drawing hit locations, but before rolling to wound, you may choose 1 hit location drawn and discard it. Yeah, so that happened. That works even with this one. The first part I read only works in the Kingsman fight, but that part will still work. You can see I haven't had much success against the Kingsman. I've never actually had King's Step on my own. And often I've taken the Kingsman out of my campaigns and replaced him. Pretty sure he's the one that gets replaced by Slenderman. Anyway, traps cancel these effects. Okay, and then the Clutch Fighter. While you have 3 or more bleeding tokens, gain +1 strength and +1 accuracy. And then the Rock Knight is also squeamish, which is a disorder. You cannot depart with any stinky gear in your gear grid. If a status effect would cause you to become stinky, lose all survival. And again, that's another one that's interesting that it's in here because of the fact that I didn't choose any of the gear, and we didn't depart, none of that stuff. It was just, they departed prior to the vignette starting. So it's pretty interesting that is in here. Post-traumatic stress. Next settlement phase, you do not contribute or participate in any endeavors. Skip the next hunt to recover. Again, another one that's interesting because of the fact that it's not going to have any effect on this because you're not doing a settlement phase. You're just doing the showdown here. And then finally, they do have the specialization club. When attacking with a club on a perfect hit, double your wound attempt total on the first selected hit location. Limit once per attack. So that's pretty cool because, of course, she does have the Skullcap Hammer, which is a club. All right, next up, we've got Hungry Basalt, which is the other one that's actually the mini from the vignette. All right, so he's got the full set of Gorm armor. We've got the Gormant boots, 2 armor. Other survivors may move through, but not into movement in a space that I occupy. The Monster Tooth necklace, gain +1 strength, and then also, if I had those two red affinities, I'd be an additional 1 strength, but I don't. Elder Earrings. At the start of the showdown, gain +2 survival, +1 hunt XP after, and then +1 hunt XP after the showdown. Gormant sleeves with 2 green affinities, which I do have. I'm a guard without spending survival. Gormant suit. Guard. At the end of your attack, if you are, let's see, do we have that? Hold on. We do have red. Yeah, we have that. Okay, so guard. At the end of your attack, if you are standing and have a shield in your gear grid, spend 1 survival to move 3 spaces directly away from the monster and block 1 for free. So really, I could do that whole thing for free because of the Gormant sleeves. Gormant mask. If your courage is higher than monster level, ignore intimidate actions, which Hungry Basalt's courage is 3. So, and we're fighting, this monster is considered level 2, so we're good there. Boss Mindy. Boss is brave. While adjacent to you, insane survivors gain +1 speed. Greater Gax, 2 speed, 6 plus accuracy, 4 strength, deadly, and reach 2. On a perfect hit, the edge sharpens, gain +4 strength for the rest of the attack. And deadly means that I basically get +1 luck when attacking with it, so I'm more likely to critically wound the monster. And the round leather shield, add 1 to all hit locations, and then block 1. I can spend an action to ignore 1 hit the next time I'm attacked. Last until my next act. You cannot use block more than once per attack. Also, with that Gorman armor set, when I suffer more than 1 severe injury from an attack, I ignore the second severe injury. Also have the binge eating disorder, which again will not affect anything here, other than if I have to if I'm given the choice to consume something, I must consume it. And so nothing else that will affect anything here. 4 armor across the board for Hungry Basalt. Oh, by the way, with Rock Knight, 3 armor for the head, 4 for the body, 4 for the waist, 4 for the legs. 3 strength total and 2 speed. And no special attributes for Hungry Basalt. All right, moving on to Gadrock, which is represented by this survivor right here. So we have Gorn, which is this instrument. For an action, all non-death knockdown survivors stand and gain +1 armor to all hit locations. Can use that once per showdown. White Lion boots. I just have the armor from that. I don't get the +1 movement. The White Lion skirt for 2 armor. The White Lion coat for 2 armor. Pounce, spend, movement, and action to move 3 spaces in a straight line. Then if you move 3 spaces, activate a melee weapon with +1 strength, which we'll see that the brass knuckles cover that. Frenzy drink. For an action, consume, suffer frenzy brain trauma. This can be used once per showdown. The Lion headdress, 1 armor. It's an accessory, so it can be used in addition to the White Lion helm. White Lion helm, 2 armor. Let's see, we do not get that extra stuff there. The White Lion gauntlet, 2 armor. When you pounce, gain +1 accuracy for your next attack this turn. And then the Beast Knuckle, 2 speed, 6 plus accuracy, 4 strength. It's paired, but that doesn't matter because I only have 1 of them. When you wound with this weapon, monster gains -1 toughness until the end of the attack. And then, so of course, he does have the full White Lion armor. Your weapons are your claws, gain +1 speed and +2 strength when attacking with daggers or katars. And the Beast Knuckle is considered a katar. So most of the time, unless something happens to those Beast Knuckles, Gadrock will be getting +1 speed and +2 strength, which is good because he doesn't have any other special attributes already built in. Total of 4 armor for the head, 3 across all the rest of the body, arms, legs, all that stuff. Fighting arts, he has the Orator of Death fighting art. Once per showdown, he may spend an action to have all non-death survivors gain +2 insanity. And when he dies, he encourages all survivors with his last words. So anybody that's knocked down would stand up. Disorders, he has the Hoarder disorder, which isn't going to have any effect because it only triggers when returning from a showdown. And then the Stalwart ability allows him to ignore being knocked down by brain trauma and intimidate actions. And finally, we've got Breccia or Breccia, this one right here. She has the Leather Cuirass for 3 armor, the Leather Mask for 3 armor, and when she departs, she gains +2 insanity. The Leather Skirt for 3 armor, the Hunter Whip, which has 3 speed, 6 accuracy, 3 strength, and we are gaining the on a perfect hit, discard 1 mood and play, which could be very useful for the Lion. They tend to have a bunch of moods in the deck. Lucky Charm, which is activated here. She will be getting +1 luck. The Brain Mint, for an action, consume it and remove all tokens and stand up. You may use this while knocked down, use once per showdown. And the Leather Bracers, 3 armor. When she departs, she gains 2 survival. The Leather Boots, 3 armor. She does get at the end of your act, you may move 1 space. So that's cool, a free movement there. You got to remember that. I probably have a hard time remembering that. And Monster Grease, which we do get as well, +1 evasion. And then, so +1 evasion automatically, and then an additional +1 evasion from the 3 green affinities. And then she has Mighty Strike. On a perfect hit, gain +2 strength until the end of the attack. And then for abilities, specialization is the whip. When she wounds with the whip, instead of moving the top card of the AI deck into the wound stack, I can instead, if I want to, move the top card of the AI discard pile. That can happen once per attack. And she's also a tinker, which again only affects returning survivors. So nothing to do with this showdown. All right, so now that we've met our survivors, let's quickly take a look at what exactly is going on here. How did they come across this enormous white lion, this Gigalion? The survivors from Gadrock had lost their quarry's trails. Starved and worn, they hid from the oppressive dark in a stony nook. Depression and anxiety filled their silence. Time passed, their prostrate bodies drained of hope. Restless, the mad survivor caressed her rosy rock and whispered, and that of course is the Rock Knight they're talking about. Desperation made sense of nonsense. They would venture deeper into the darkness, deeper than anyone had ever gone, and find their grave. With a grim twinkle in their eyes, they set out. They came upon a mountain of hissing phlegm and slipped through a dried crack. They found a razor-sharp wall of stone fingernails and used their cloaks to soften their ascent. The ground spun beneath them and they vomited as they stumbled onward. Finally, a blasted field opened before them. Atop a weathered stone slicked with rotting flesh rested a white lion larger than any they had ever seen. Its massive face turned in their direction, nostrils flaring. They felt the air flowing past as the monster inhaled their scent. They had found what they sought. All right, so this is the White Gigalion, as I've said. So real quick, a couple of things as far as what it's going to be starting out with. So it has 10 basic cards in its AI deck, 5 advanced cards. Wait, let's see. Is that right? Yes, 5 advanced cards and no legendary cards. And it has 8 movement, 10 toughness, +1 speed, +1 damage. So it also starts with Vicious in play, which is a trait. At the end of each monster turn, the monster extends its giant hooked claws. Target all adjacent survivors. Full move, so all adjacent survivors. Full move the White Gigalion away from all other threats. All targets suffer grab. Wow. So ending adjacent to this thing is not going to be good. Trait, another trait that it has is Giga Claws. Whenever the monster collides with a survivor, it snags them with its hooked claws. They suffer grab. If this is in conjunction with another grab, the survivor does not suffer grab multiple times. And then when a survivor suffers grab, roll 1d10. On a 9+, they get skewered and suffer bleed 1. Oh, wow. Okay. Also, the Smart Cat AI card is the first one that's been placed on top of the AI deck. Oh, and then Sniff, it looks like it's a little different. The White Gigalion leaps high, vacuuming the air into its sensitive nostrils. Its awareness of the battle intensifies. The monster gains +1 accuracy and +1 luck. Place the monster in the center of the showdown board facing the most survivors. Shovel the hit location deck and place gigantic pendulous paunch on top of it, which is a new hit location that's been added in. I wonder if the basic attack is any different. Basic attack. Looks like the pick target section is slightly different. This is closest survivor in field of view and range, closest survivor in range, or no target sniff. The move and attack looks to be basically the same though. So I think that pretty much gets us ready to go. All right, so there you go. That's the setup. That's all the different things we've got going on going into this fight. Come back next time. We'll have the entire gameplay against the White Gigalion in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff. Find ways to support the channel in the description below. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.